Hi everyone, welcome back to This Book Belongs to Pam. Today's video is just gonna be me trying to organize my brain and figure out the prompts and the books for the Magical Readathon. So I'm joining this readathon hosted by G of Book Rose, and yes? What do you want? I'm joining this readathon hosted by G from Book Rose, and she has created this amazing world and readathon, and I'm really sad that I couldn't join it when it was running last September, but the next part of the readathon starts in April, so I can catch up until then, I believe. So I'm just gonna do my own thing, catch up, create my characters and whatnot. So that's what you're about to watch right now. In the end, I'm going to be sharing all of the books that I'm going to be reading as my TBR. On to readathon planning.
Hi everyone, good morning. Actually no, it's good afternoon. It's 1:26 in the afternoon. I'm going to start picking out the books for my Magical Readathon TBR. If you're not familiar with Magical Readathon, it's a readathon hosted by G of Book Rose. So I'm gonna link the video where she announces the readathon in the description box. The first time she did it was last year. I believe it was in September, but I wasn't able to join it at that time because I was already reading a lot of books then, and I was also on break from BookTube and other book social media. So I thought I would go through that readathon now because she's launching the next part of that readathon on April, I believe. So I want to be caught up. This is just my reading journal. I haven't really shared this because I haven't really figured out my entire setup for it, but I've been using this to track some of my TBRs as well as the different printables from the Magical Readathon. So these are the different printables. She has the history of the world that she created for the readathon. Oh, my battery. Hold on. Let me just change the battery. Okay, I'm back with a different angle. So yeah, this is my reading journal, and I just have all of the prompts in here, all of the printables and whatnot. I've sort of already decided in my head the character that I want to build for the readathon. You get a bunch of different choices. G has created a lot of different characters. I've printed all of the different characters in here, and then all of the different sort of regions that you come from. And then you also have this is basically the prompt list. It's not that visible on screen, but this is the prompt list. So depending on the type of character that you want to build, you have to read a different kind of prompt. And then this is where I'll input all of the final details of my character. And finally, this is the novice path. So this is the readathon that they did last September, but you can still catch up to it as long as you create everything like a character and all before April of 2022. So that's what I'm gonna do. You also have to answer some questions. Their choice is like a quiz, and then depending on your choices, you get sorted, I believe, into different guilds at the end, and then that will matter when you go to the readathon in April. So I really like all of the world building that has gone into this readathon. I like all of the magical elements to it. Today, our goal is to first figure out the different prompts that I need to fulfill in order to create my character, and then choose the books based on those prompts. So I will sort of give you an idea of the character that I want. I'm not fully decided yet on things like names and whatever, but I already know the species, the race. I'm not sure what the proper term is. The heritage and the province that I want my character to be. I can choose the books based on that, but I don't have a final sort of name, background story, and whatnot. I think I can do those a little bit later on, but for now I just want to choose the book so I can start
reading those books. So without further ado, I think we should just start talking about the actual books and prompts that I need to fulfill for the Magical Readathon. So the first thing is I want my character to be an Illyrian, which are these cool people who can turn into crows. That's what I realized. They're like vampires, but they turn into crows instead of bats, and they also don't drink blood. So Illyrians are trained from a very young age to be quick of both wit and body. Over centuries, the main objective of Illyrians has been to collect and learn from all written texts, especially tomes long lost to the dark forces. So that's what I want. I want to be collecting different books and different like literature, sort of like accumulating the knowledge of the world. So that's why I picked Illyrian as my heritage. So the next thing that I needed to pick was my province, so where I came from basically. Yeah, so initially I was debating between Dark Meadow, which is I guess where most Illyrians are from, and also Etheria. So the reason is that Etheria, it's basically like a wildlife place. It's like a very nature-y place. But then there's a lot of like knowledge, like long lost knowledge that's hidden within Etheria based on this. Yeah, Etheria is known for its ruins and tombs. They're home to many spirits and unknown creatures, blah blah blah. So I thought that this would be perfect for my Illyrian heritage because it's considered a destination for those seeking knowledge of past, albeit a very challenging one. So I think that's perfect. But then I realized that I want my character to travel to Etheria but come from Dark Meadow. So essentially, I am still from Dark Meadow. Maybe my story is that I am traveling throughout Etheria to visit all of the ruins and tombs and find out if there are any literature lurking within its depths. I think I'm gonna stick with Dark Meadow. This is basically a very harsh and snowy area, but then underground it's a maze of cities and crystal caves, and then they also have the great underworld library within the depths of Dark Meadow. So I think that's just a really good spot for me. So I'm gonna be picking Dark Meadow and Illyria. Another thing is I need to decide if I am a wildling or an urban. So I think I'm gonna pick urban. So those are the first three things for character creation. For my background, which is an urban background, I need to read a book that is set in a city or town. Okay, let's try that. And then for my province, which is Dark Meadow, I need to read Dark Academia. And then for my heritage, which is Illyrian, I need to read a book with a crow on the cover or title, or a red cover book. So those are the first three things that I need to figure out. So next is I'm going to check the prompts for the novice path, which is this one. So I'm just going to check the prompts for this. So each location in here, can you see? Like the tower and Tower of Illumination and whatnot. Each checkpoint there has like a prompt. I believe you don't need to do all the prompts. You need to do 2 prompts to successfully reach the academy, which is sort of the end goal for this readathon right now. So I might pick a book for all the prompts, so I have some sort of flexibility, but I only really need to read 2. This is the novice path. This is basically the map which has all of the different checkpoints where you could read a book from this sort of prompt list, and then if you clear 2 checkpoints, then you finish a novice path and you can go to the Aurelium Academy, which is sort of our goal for this readathon before April 2022. We have the novice path entrance, which is this one, and it says here read a book with a map, so that's easy enough. And then we go on into the Ashthorn tree, which is over here, and then you have to read a book that keeps tempting you, basically a book that is at the very top of your TBR list. So from the Ashthorn tree we go to the Mist of Solitude, and then this one you have to read a standalone.
And then we have The Ruin of Sky over here, where you have to read a book featuring ghosts, haunted house, or other supernatural elements. From The Ruin, we travel to Obsidian Falls, which is cut off at the top. It's here. And in the falls, you read a thriller or mystery book. And from the falls, you travel to the Tower of Rumination, where you have to read a 5-star prediction. And then from the tower, we travel to the Aurelium Arc, where we have to read a book with a school setting. So those are all of the prompts. Again, you only need to clear 2, so that's pretty easy. There's a lot to choose from. So my goal today is to just pick out all of the books for each of the prompts so that I have a reading list. First, we have a book set in a city or town. So I have a stack of books in here. Some of the books I haven't read yet, so let me just pull out the books that I haven't read and see if I can fit it somewhere. I have Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, and then I have oh gosh, I have The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I also have I have Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. So I haven't read these ones yet. So I want to read at least one of them for this readathon. Book with a map. I'm pretty sure this would have a map because this is a fantasy book, and fantasy books love their maps. Let's see. Do you have... Yes, we have a map. Yep, that's the map. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna read this one for Book with a Map. Next, we have to read a book that keeps tempting me. Book on my TBR. I'm actually also going to check my Libby for books that are currently on hold or that I've currently borrowed. So I have Red, White, and Royal Blue. I have it currently borrowed. It's due in 5 days, so I think maybe I should just read it for a book that keeps tempting me, or for a standalone. Yeah, I'm gonna put that for standalone. So I have this book that I've been wanting to read for a while, but I keep postponing it, which is this one, and The Unkindness of Ravens. It's actually a thriller book, so it also fits within the thriller prompt. So I think I'm gonna put it for the thriller prompt. I'm gonna go over the entire TBR later on and explain a little bit more about what each book is about. For now, I just want to pick the book. And then we have featuring ghosts and supernatural. There's one book that I want to read that I think fits that, which is Tokyo Ueno Station. I believe this one has a ghost. Yeah, Kazu is dead. Born in Fukushima. Yeah. So Tokyo Ueno Station has like a supernatural element-ish. So I'm gonna read that. I also have to read a 5-star prediction. Honestly, right now, the book that I think fits this the most is Well of Ascension. But I know that we can do double ups in Magical Readathon. So I can put that for the map and for 5-star prediction. What if I just put Vengeful and 5-star prediction? Yeah, we're gonna put Vengeful and 5-star. Okay, let's move on first to the book with a school setting. I think this is in a school setting from how I understood of the synopsis, but I'm gonna read Love Hypothesis. This one. Another prompt that I have to answer is a book with a crow on a cover or a red cover book. I think I'm gonna go with Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which has a red color cover. For Read Dark Academia, this one's really difficult for me. I'm thinking of reading If We Were Villains. Is it in the library? It is. Oh gosh, that's so long. What else is Dark Academia? Is Bunny Dark Academia? This one? It sounds like it. I'm gonna place a hold on that as well. Okay, read a book set in city or town? City or town? Maybe I'll just read Leave the World Behind, which is set in Long Island. I'm gonna organize this first, and then we can talk about all of my TBR for Magical
So
Readathon.
let's summarize all of the books that I plan to read for the Magical Readathon. I have my cheat sheet in here and a bunch of dogs in the background, so let's dive right into it. So the first one is to read a book set in a city or town. For this, I'm going to be reading the book Leave the World Behind. I chose this book because it's set in, I believe, Long Island. So we have a family that goes into a Airbnb or some kind of vacation rental place. But then some weird things start happening because another family goes to the same place and says that they own the Airbnb, but there's like this power outage or something like that, so they can't really verify if that family actually owns the Airbnb. So there's this whole dynamic of whether they would believe that family and what's happening in the outside world. It's like a mystery thriller thing. But yeah, it's set in a city town. The next one is to read dark academia books. I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna read If We Were Villains or Bunny, because both of those have quite a long waiting list in the library. And then I have to read a book with a crow on the cover or in the title, or a red cover book. So for this one, I'm gonna be read The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Yeah, I think that's the title. So I'm not too sure what that's about, but I have it in my sort of TBR list in the library in Libby. So I guess I'll just be surprised. Yeah, so those are for the character creation prompts. Next is the novice path prompts. For the first one, which is the novice path entrance, I have to read a book with a map. For this one, I'm going to be reading Well of Ascension. I'm actually proud that I have a physical copy for once. So Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Mistborn series. It is essentially a continuation of where we left off. Map. This one has a map, and I'm super excited to be reading this. I might actually film a separate reading vlog for this. I really loved the first book, so I'm super excited to dive into the world again. So yeah, Well of Ascension. And then the next prompt, I have to read a book that keeps tempting me, or a book that's at the top of my TBR list. For this one, I actually left it blank because I'm gonna be flexible and put whatever's upcoming on my holds list or my borrow list in the library in this category, since it's a very flexible prompt as well. The third one is to read a standalone book. For this one, I think I'm gonna be reading Red, White, and Royal Blue, just because I want to read something lighthearted, and I've had this in my holds list for a while now, so might as well read it. The next one is to read a book featuring ghosts, supernatural elements, things like that. So for this one, I plan to read Tokyo Ueno Park because I believe that the main character in that book is actually dead, but then she's sort of like this ghost slash spirit, and she's telling us sort of her story and the things that are happening in Tokyo at that time. So I guess that counts, right? Ghosts. The next one is to read a thriller or a mystery. For this one, I'm going to be reading An Enchantment of Ravens, An Unkindness of Ravens. So that's a mystery thriller book where you, I'm trying to remember synopsis. The main character, I believe, is like a librarian or like a bookseller of the sort. The main character loves reading mystery thrillers and stuff, but she suddenly finds a dead body inside the library slash bookshop. So she starts to investigate and things like that. So I think that's the synopsis. And then the next book that I want to read is a 5-star prediction. For that, I think I'm going to be reading Vengeful, which is the second book in the Villain series. I read Vicious last year and I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to like Vengeful enough to give it 5 stars, but I'm not sure. So it's a prediction. Let's see how it fares. And the last one is to read a book with a school setting. For this one, I think I'm going to read The Love Hypothesis. I've heard so much about it. I'm pretty sure it takes place in a school because we have like this professor and like a graduate assistant, teaching assistant, I think. I'm not super sure, but I know that it's set in a school, so I'm gonna put it for this prompt. So these are all of the books that I plan to read for Magical Readathon. So I'm gonna be filming me reading all of those books as well, and I'm gonna put that into a separate reading vlog for all of the Magical Readathon books. I hope you would join us as well. I'm super excited to get into these books that I have planned. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you're also joining the Magical Readathon, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your character names and heritage are, because I'm super curious about that. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!